have a confidence in you. Be confident about the role that you are auditioning for. Come very unprepared. Make sure that you come prepared. Doing an audition, come with a question. Like, if you don't understand a role, come with a question.
Hello and welcome to the Hollywood Dream Podcast, the podcast where we talk to TV and film professionals about their journey towards reaching that big Hollywood dream, whatever that dream might be to them. And in today's episode, I'm sitting down with a casting director. Her name is Medge Ross, and she was in charge of casting the Audible original series, The Ring in Daisy King. Hi, oh my God. Hi again.
Hi again.
Thank you again for doing this. Let's talk to you. You're like the gatekeeper of Hollywood. The casting directors are the ones that, well, sometimes it's you have to get in. So I'm excited to talk to you.
Yup. Same here.
So you're from Montreal. Did you always want to go into casting, or do you just want to pursue a career in entertainment and you just happened to fall into casting?
Well, to be honest with you, while I was studying for my master degree, I was a production major, producing major. And how did I get into casting? One day, I guess I was a little bit tired of doing a lot of PA jobs, and I went to my advisor and I said to my advisor, I'm very tired of lifting these heavy things. PA, they do a lot. And he told me about, Liz Lewis Casting Partners. Liz Lewis Casting Partners has been in the industry for 25 years, 25 plus years, and I studied as an intern, and then after that I studied as a casting assistant, and then after that the rest is history. I worked with a variety of casting directors, doing commercials, feature film, short film, some theater, and then that's it. And then in 2020 I started my own company, the MR Casting.
And how's your experience as an intern? Because, just similar to... Sorry for the ambulance. I'm in New York. I don't know if you heard the ambulance. Similar to like PA jobs, the interns, that's another bottom of the barrel job that people hate. And it's a lot of they say you have to do it, but it's just sometimes not worth it. How was your experience as an assistant of the intern, and how did that shape you and make you the casting director you are today?
Well, when I started as an intern with Liz Lewis Casting, that's how I met my mentor, Caitlin D. Jones, who was pretty much helped me who I am today as a casting director. She will help me with because I love asking a lot of questions. I'm the type of person, Jahani, who love asking questions. I'm not gonna start a job and not asking a question. That's a no-no to me. I wanted to know the do and don'ts, the in and outs. I wanted to know everything. And she saw something in me that I didn't see. And I am today. If it wasn't for her, I would not be a casting director today if it wasn't for my mentor. So it pretty much, it just changed me. I mean, being an intern, you had to start at the bottom. I don't know about the casting industry. I was not familiar with the casting industry. I didn't even know the casting industry exists until I did my internship with Liz Lewis Casting Partners, and I learned everything. And now I am who I am today because of my experience as an intern, as an assistant, and as an associate. And now I'm a casting director and I own my own company.
That's amazing. And what is your casting agency, the MR casting agency? How did that come to be? And can you tell us more a little bit about it?
Sure. So the MR casting is pretty much it's the Medge Ross, but I did not want to put the Medge Ross casting. I was like DMR casting. So how did that came about? I seriously in 2019, I was helping a casting director, which I had such a bad experience with. It was so horrible where I pretty much share my experience with Cheryl L. Bedford, which is the woman of color founder. And she was like, why don't you start your own company? You don't need to work for nobody, just work for your own self. And then that's how I started in 2020. I started my own company because of the advice because of my bad experience and the advice that Cheryl L. Bedford shared with me. She's like, start with my own company because that experience was horrible. The way that casting director treated me, I was like, it was really horrible. So that's how I started my own company, early 2020.
And was your family receptive of the idea of you becoming a casting director, or did they like understood what that was, or were they like, no, don't do that?
Well, to be honest with you, my family's from the Caribbean. So if you're not a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or engineer, they don't want nothing to do with you. So they were very, at first they were not upset. They did not upset me working in the entertainment industry or becoming a casting director. And then the more I share what I'm doing, the more, especially my mother, she understood that, what I'm doing is good. And then and then she know my mentor very well. She know my mentor. She always asks for my mentor. She's like, oh, are you working, when I was an assistant, are you working with Caitlin? And I'm like, yes, I'm working with her. So she know about the importance about my job. What I'm doing is very important, especially for filmmakers. Yes, she's from the Caribbean. She does not understand it. But the more you explain it to your family members and the more you show them what you're doing, they will approve it. They will agree with it. They will accept you. Really.
Yeah, it's similar to me. Like, my family's also from the Caribbean, so if it's not something that's a secure path where you go to school, you're gonna get a job right after. They're like, no, what is this? Until they see like, oh, okay, she's getting money from it or working out.
Now, I was just saying, you already know if you're from the Caribbean, parents, just like I said, if you're not a nurse or a doctor or engineer or a lawyer, they don't want nothing to do with you. The entertainment industry does not exist for them. So you have to educate them and teaching them that, yes, there are certain career that you could be successful with. And once they see what you're doing is good, you're getting your money, you're doing your stuff, they would accept you. They would accept your career and they would accept you.
That's very true. And you said you started your company in 2020. Aside from the pandemic, was there any other roadblocks that you experienced when you first started?
To be honest with you, I started my company in January of 2020. And then 2 months later, that's when COVID happened. I didn't have any roadblock because I was promoting myself a lot, promoting my company, promoting myself, and letting people know about my services. So a lot of filmmakers, they reach out to me. Producers, directors, they're looking for talent. They reach out to me, which was a shocker.
That's good. That's the power of social media.
Yep.
Like, you can just promote yourself now and people find you.
Yes, definitely.
And how do you approach casting different projects, like casting a film as opposed to casting a commercial or TV or like even just a small podcast?
I mean, I pretty much I specialize in so many different like feature film, television show, commercials, and voiceovers. So it really depends on the project, and it really depends what the director and the producers are looking for. So my feature film and short film and voiceover is totally different. It takes time for you to find the talents. It takes time for you to reach out to their agent or their managers, see if they are a perfect match, see if they are going to fit, and also if the production team love what what I'm pretty much showing them as well. So it takes, for me, I take my time because for me, I just don't recommend any actors or actresses to a potential client. I take my time and seeing, okay, if this person is going to be able to deliver, is going to be able to understand the character, understand, okay, you're doing a commercial. Okay, what type of commercial it is going to be? You're doing a feature film. Do you understand the role? A short film, do you understand the role that you are reading for? So I do take my time with my clients, and I do have a meeting with them and talk about what exactly are you looking for, because the final decision is not my decision, is the director decision.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you say, like, from the 3 years that you 3 years, 3 4 that you've been working as a casting director? What has been the most difficult to work on? Is it films or is it commercials or TV?
It's really not difficult at all. Just like I said, that I mentioned before, it really depends on what the production team is looking for. Um, sometimes it can be stressful, but don't stress yourself out. Take your time pretty much getting to know what the production team is looking for, what the director is really looking for. For me, when I have a new client, like a director, me and the client, we're gonna have a one-on-one chat about what exactly you're looking for, because they're the one who know what they're looking for. So I take my time pretty much, make sure that they understood my process. It might take some time, to find the right talent, but I'm gonna make sure that I find you the right talent. And make sure that you understand that, this is how I work. This is how I take my time to do what I have to do for me to make sure that you are satisfied with the service that I'm offering to you. So yeah. Mhm.
And speaking of like talent and finding talent, when you have a very specific role that you have to find, and you're having like a difficult time either finding it through Actors Access, or I mean, I don't know what you use, or that's me coming from like the outside, the acting world. I only know Actors Access and Backstage. But when you have a very specific role, how do you go about finding, like, what outside the box strategies do you come up with to find specific things?
Well, first, it really depends, just like I said, on the project, really, and depends on the role that the director is asking for. The number one thing that I do, if I know that I have a talent that will be a good fit or a good match, I will reach out to them, or I will reach out to their talent manager or their booking agent to see if this is something that they want to be a part of, or they want to audition for us, or they want to submit a self-tape. So I reach out to the talent first. And then if I'm not getting any response, that's when I was like, you know what, let me just use casting website, Actors Access, Backstage, Casting Network, and then many variety of casting websites. But my number one thing is to reach out to the talent first to see if they like the role or they want to audition for us. If it's not that, if I'm not getting any response from the talent, I will just use the casting website.
Do you feel like it's important to have a large social media following with the world of social media now, and like studios and networks handing out movies to, influencers instead of actually looking for talent? Do you feel like it's it's a plus if you have a large following, or can someone with a small following just kind of just focus on like their craft and go, try to be the best that they can? Like, what is your take on the social media influencer world and movies or TV?
Well, yes, it is good that you have, it's really good for you to have uh, a a great amount of followers on social media. Um, I mean, I don't usually sometimes I don't usually use social media for me to find some talents, but if I come across uh, across a social media that I like, or a person that I like, the number one thing that I'm going to look at is how many followers do they have. Yes, I mean, you don't really have to have 1 million followers for you to be the it. You could have 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers, or less than that. That's fine with me. But for me, it's what type of, on the social media platform, what exactly are you, what are you showing us? What type of social media reel do you have? Like, what type of talent do you have on your social media? Are you a comedian? Are you a rapper? Are you a singer? Oh, are you a model? Social media art influencers. That's what they call it nowadays, right? Um, what exactly, yeah, I mean, what exactly are you showing? Like, I mean, I don't look at people for followers. I seriously don't. It's just that, when I'm looking at somebody's social media, I just want to know, okay, so this is your social media, but how are you outside of your social media? Because sometimes people can be one way in social media, but then another way is totally different.
What's been like the favorite thing that you worked on so far? Like a project that you really enjoy and loved?
Every project that I work on has been amazing to me. I'm not really picky. Every film that I work on, every project that I work on, I seriously enjoy it, because for me, the way I treat every director and producer that reach out to me as a family. I still keep in touch with them. I still asking them, how are you doing? How's your project going? So for me, every project that I work on last year and this year, amazing. I treat all of my project like family.
That's good. Is there any advice that you would give someone that wants to pursue a career in casting?
My best advice, if you want to be a casting director, is just start from the bottom. There's a lot of casting offices that is always looking for an intern or a casting assistant, but start as an intern. If this is what you want to do as a profession, as a career, yeah, start from the bottom. Go to their website to see if they are offering any casting internship, and and apply, because this industry, it's an amazing industry. It's an industry that existed for many, many, many years. And if you really want to start this as a career, just go ahead and apply to a casting um a casting office as an intern, and then become a casting assistant, and then the rest is history.
Exactly. Then you can have your own casting agent.
For me, if you're not familiar with the industry, my recommendation is not for you to start your own casting company, because this industry is very picky. If they don't know who you are, if they don't know your history, they don't know how you started, where you get your training from, that's not good. So that's why I always
Yeah.
recommend people start from a casting office, and then, if you want to continue to be in the casting industry, continue being a casting assistant, working with various casting directors, you will learn about the industry, because there's a lot of ins and outs in this industry. Don't start your casting company and you don't even know, how to, you don't even know about the industry. If people don't know who you are, oh, trust me, they're not going to give you a chance. So just start from a casting office and then work with different variety of casting directors, and then you're going to learn. It takes years for you to learn about this industry. It's not going to take you only a month or two. It takes you many, 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 many years.
That's true. And how about like advice for actors who are looking to improve their chances at, landing that role during the audition?
The best advice I would say to actors for you to learn the audition, have a confidence in you. Be confident about the role that you are auditioning for. Be yourself. Be yourself, and then be able to do a good job and come prepared. There are many actors that I see who come very unprepared. Make sure that you come prepared. Have the confidence for you to be able to, read your line, to audition with your line. Pretty much come prepared. Come prepared and have a confidence and have a personality too. I love when an actor have a personality, and also come with your questions. If you're doing an audition, come with a question. Like, if you don't understand a role, come with a question, because the production team will be at the audition. Come with your question. I love when an actor comes in and they come with questions. I seriously love it.
That means they care and they've been studying the roles, so that's good.
Exactly. And they also, my other advice too, do your research about the director. Oh, go to their IMDb. Who is the director? Because, when you do a casting call, we put out that information. Who's the director? Who's the producer? Do your research about the director. Or what type of film that the director did before. So that you could go ahead and try to see, oh, let me see the previous work that the director did. Well, let me go see, or let me just go, hold on, let me do my research about this film. Let me go see this film to see if I could do something similar to it or something better than that. Yeah, just have the confidence in you. Just have the confidence. It's all about being confident in the job that you are doing. It's kind of like you having a full-time job and, you come in prepared. Just make sure that you come prepared. That's it.
Thank you so much. This was really fun. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did.
Well, thank you for doing this. And please continue interviewing, filmmakers and people who work behind the cameras and stuff. Continue doing your thing. And thank you for doing this, really, Johanny. Thank you so very much for interviewing me, for asking these wonderful questions. And, you are curious. You are curious just like everybody else. You want to know.
Exactly. I feel like the people behind the scene need to be celebrated as much as the people in front of the camera. So that's why I'm doing this podcast, to talk to them.
Thank you.